Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to another episode of 4 a.m. Chicken Soup Podcast. It's late at night. We're at the barrage with a very dear friend and somebody really special, and I have a huge privilege to actually have him here in his busy schedule. So please join me in welcoming Robert Laird.
I appreciate
the
that.
founder and owner of Dios Azul Tequila, which was kind enough to sponsor this episode as well. So today we're going to talk about tequila. We're going to talk about football club, your involvement with San Diego FC, about you and your life, and what it just took, for you to
take this exciting thing on, to be crazy enough to take on this industry. Yeah.
That's right, because I've been there, I've done that, so I know it's not easy. And
well, you've done it. Yeah, this is.
But one thing I want to start with just saying one thing to you directly, personally, actually, wow. Right? I've been having the privilege of, being around you for quite a while now. And one thing that is very noticeable about you is that you are always in good spirits. And as a leader, I think that is a crucial characteristic to have, because your team will pick up on every single vibration that you project out there and kind of unconsciously follow that.
Sure.
And I wanted to say how much respect I have for never really actually seeing you not being present, not being, you were always here, you're always you listen to people, and you're always in this really good mood. And I know it's hard to, believe me, I know it's not easy to do that. So I want to start with just introducing you like that.
Because I think, very warm welcome.
I think because this is a crucial thing of your personality and your work ethic and just the way you work with people. And so thank you for that. And thank you for being a role model in that way.
I want to give you a damn hug after that. It's fantastic. Thank you. That means a lot, Dushan. I've been fortunate to have some incredible mentors and leaders along my career. The last 20 years in business, in different fields, in hospitality driven, a lot of it, even though it was in retail sides, it was hospitality. And you have, if you're as a leader, you have to just resonate every day. The mission, the mantra, and there's just that is the responsibility. The crown you bear, so to speak.
You got to walk the walk.
You do. Yeah, if you want to be that person, where you have people following you into battle and putting their family on the line and their potentially their hopes and dreams on the line, they better trust you.
So how many other CEOs or founders have that kind of awareness? I haven't met many. Have you?
I haven't. And I'm fortunate that I've spent enough years early in my teens, late teens and early teens, in the trenches, so to speak, right underneath. I ran Mercedes-Benz stores for 12 years.
Okay.
So I'll say that was a huge, amazing chapter of my life. You can imagine all my 20s, from 19 to 20 to 30.
You had to wear a suit, look sharp.
Of course, every day we were suited and booted. I was the youngest, general manager, pretty much in the country at 22 years old. So 70 employees at that time, a really high profile operation, beautiful store, and then a really great ownership group that was private. This is in Northern California where I live. So, and we had great leaders at the time, so I had guys that I emulated business early on, even though I was young in my 20s. I absorbed, how to take care of your people, how to work, do as I do, not as I say sort of mantra. And so, I try to really wear that and resonate that.
Right.
I've been in sports since I was 4 and typically team captain and played quarterback. So, I've been in a leadership role most of my life as a wonderful gift. And I'm just trying not to waste it, so to speak, right? We get those right in life. And I think it's important that, you share that with the people who decide to surround themselves around you.
Right.
Yeah,
I think this is really rare, actually, from my experience. I'm old enough to have been around a lot of people, especially working as a bartender and as a restaurant owner. And being kind of in a founding and leadership role myself, I know what it takes, to do that. And I appreciate it. I see it when I see it, when I recognize it. I'm like,
yeah. Well, especially the nice thing with your experience in hospitality, nightlife, restaurant ownership, right? That is not an easy deal, right?
It's got to be crazy to be in restaurants.
There's a lot of hurdles.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always easy to be in a great spirit when the winds are coming your way, but in most businesses that's not the way it goes. No. So it's how do you get up every day and make sure you're the first person to get the team sort of kick-started, because they're all going through their own not struggles. Yeah. Potentially struggles, but also, trying to have their purpose with you and make sure they feel that way. So I appreciate that you recognize that. It's definitely, something I focus on, trying to be better at, when I can. And
it's not lost on me.
Thank you, buddy.
So, thank you for being like that and being kind of in my presence. And so maybe this is a good segue to kind of continue, like after the Mercedes. Like, how did you actually get into falling in love with tequila and deciding to launch your own brand? And what was the journey like? Can you speak a little bit about that?
I can. It's I still sort of laugh about it now at this point. I just turned 40 this year, 2025. And as pieces of this puzzle continue to come together, right? It's evolved dramatically over the last 18 months when this was first introduced to me. But going back further, it's like a Slumdog Millionaire story. I mean, and if you haven't seen that movie, it's a great film. Obviously, has an incredible message, and a lot of that resonates with what's happened here for me. And it's like the chapters of my life that have led up to now have sort of just been, training for it. It's if I put it simplistically. But in addition, like leveraging those skill sets we learn along our journey, right? And remembering that the journey, whatever we're in, whatever chapter you're in, there's something to grab from it.
Exactly.
And more often than not, and almost 100,000% of the time, you don't know exactly what it is until later.
That's right.
So I kept cognizant of that along the way. My father passed away when I was 16, which was a serious character building moment. I thought I had things figured out, and then of course I had a rug pulled out from under me at a pivotal time as a young man, and so I nearly threw a lot of what I thought I was going to be doing away, but then it ended up sort of blossoming, quicker responsibility and a sense of, a sense of honor. Like, had a great dad, and he was an incredible father, showed me a lot of what the world was going to be like early on. He was hard on me. Of course, at the time, it's like most kids, it's kind of, we're butting heads, but at the end of the day, you just want what's best. So luckily I had a wherewithal, of the world doesn't owe you anything. Hard work is going to get you there, and pity parties. We all have sob stories. So forget about it. Let's get to work and let's try to be honorable.
Yeah.
So
for a young man to get that message, it's quite exceptional, I would say. I
appreciate that. Yeah. I was,
it takes a big shock in life to kind of wake up to the reality of the situation.
It does, and I think as a
terror of the situation,
as a bartender late night, I got to imagine you get to hear everyone's story, right? Yes. Everybody has one.
Everybody has multiple stories,
and so you end up becoming skilled in I don't want to call it psychology and therapy, but you definitely have become a good listener, and I'm sure some people you've probably enlightened some people on the way.
Well, I do listen. I do listen. I listen because I know that, as you say, everybody has multiple stories that they say I to and identify with the story, and the story becomes them. And I remember that. I remember that story, and the reason they identify with that story has a deeper reason for it. It is caused somewhere.
Totally.
From some kind of a pain or some kind of a hope or some kind of a some kind of a construct that they create. And it is important for bartenders to give them that ability, to give your guests the ability to feel like they can express it, without any judgment, without, so, I know what you're talking about, and I think this is also very much ties in the way that you treat your employees or people who work with you. Because I know you're a guy who doesn't say people work for me; people work with you because you're not sitting on your ass all day long.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So going back to answering your question on how we got here today, which is we'll try to wrap it up in a reasonable amount of time. But I've been good. Yeah, we're after hours. I've been fortunate to be involved in some great industries, right? Multifaceted industries, things like sales, distribution, diagnostic placement, real estate development, which is what I've done for the last 8 years. So that's and that'll get to where we discovered Dios Azul. So for the first 15 years of my career, I was in the car industry and then got into banking, so I had a little taste of corporate and acquisitions, offshore accounting and things of that nature. It's given me some insight into how money moves, of course. And then got into an entrepreneurial role about 8 years ago after doing very well for most of my companies I worked for. It was time to, venture out on my own, bet on myself. Real estate became that vehicle. And so founded a really great brokerage out of Northern California with a partner of mine. And we went to work on funding multifamily, custom homes, assisted living, really great diversity, handling kind of capital stacks for like 12.
In Northern California.
In Northern California where I live. Yeah, El Dorado Hills. Yeah. So handling capital stacks for about 12 developers. So mid-level developers that typically are short on capital. And then we run the debt through our debt providers, our lenders. And usually we're putting those deals together, right, inside of that ecosystem. And then we're helping with how the exit looks for the investor and everything else. So a complex transaction, right, that involves a lot of trust, involves a lot of capital raise and a lot of problem solving and hurdles and all of that. So no stranger to hurdles.
Lots of liability.
A lot of liability, trying to make sure you're not in that position, which thank God I've never been. And then during COVID, lending got a little weird. So 2020 hit. Beginning of 2020, end of 2019, and it was apparent there was going to be a problem to solve. So I actually dove into solving that issue with several states on their personal protection equipment, and did very well with a couple of private equity guys that were dear friends of mine. We handled like 12 states and everything from gowns to masks to you name it. It was a wild chapter.
So you pivoted right away.
Pivoted right away, yeah. During the downturn.
Good for you. I sat at home and I drank.
Yeah, a lot of people did. That's what I was like.
Hence my new sexy body. But that's cool, man.
So a lot of people don't know that chapter because we kept obviously things pretty close, but it was that 3-year chapter, 2.5, 3 years, that you talk, again, another level up in resilience. Right. Another level up of uncomfortable decisions. I mean, I was on 100 flights with no one else moving, right? Like, I was in Laredo. I was in with the cartel, making sure a product got to Michigan in time, dodging George Floyd, rallies, protests. I mean, it was like a Netflix movie. I mean, on private jets with $1 million cash and, trying to buy masks in Oklahoma. I mean, it was wild, but it created an interesting supply chain for me and I was one of the front runners in it. So as COVID testing became relevant, I was ahead of the game for that. So even though I had a hard time stomaching everything we had to go through as a society with COVID, and I was against a lot of it, there was a problem to solve. So I solved that problem with a group called Medea, an awesome group of guys, basically family. We had like 2-3 brothers. Mother ran the back office. It was Medea Vodka, which was stemmed and founded in 2016 with Shaquille O'Neal.
All right. Okay?
So Big was a shareholder of this great company. The vodka did pretty well. They had a couple patents on the bottle, which is a unique facet of that. It's Bluetooth enabled. You can put whatever you want on it. And that product did pretty well in Costco and everything else. COVID hit, and they hit some issues there, as a lot of people did with production, because their manufacturer had actually switched from creating their LED signage for the bottle to PPE.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually secured through their network of shareholders, which was an eclectic, amazing group. I mean, a bunch of professional athletes, a lot of hockey players,
Right.
great guys, and then some tech tycoons out of Silicon Valley who had done very well and gave some resources. So that group of Medea shifted to Medea Medical.
I see.
And they actually secured an incredible contract with FEMA, delivered on time, which was rare at that time. Was actually
the government tip.
The government, yes.
I love it.
You can definitely say that. But, the problem was back then the government couldn't get out, couldn't figure it out on their own.
No.
So they needed private guys, private entrepreneurs who could get shit done. Totally. And that's what this group did.
It's always like that.
Yeah. And the CEO was a stud, and we got along great. And we put together a strategy on how to roll out testing. So we did all the testing for several large venues in LA, one where the Lakers play and, and everything else.
Staples Center.
Yep. It's now crypto.com.
Yeah.
It was converting at the time.
Yeah.
So, another layer of problem solving and execution was on my plate as the senior vice president of that company. We ended up doing a massive contract with the Department of Defense during that time. Yeah. So one of a few groups to pull that off. So that whole chapter opened up a bunch of sales distribution relationships with retail, including one of our dear friends and shareholders of Dios Azul, George Riddle, who is the former president of Walmart. Mm-hmm. So he and I got to work together back then on some retail placement, and so I tapped his shoulder when I discovered this, which was shortly after parting ways with my friends at Medea in 2023, late 2023. And moving back into the real estate projects that had been underway. So by then we were finally seeing the light at the end of tunnel.
Sure.
COVID was over.
Yeah.
It was over. Mm-hmm. We're back to business. Thank God. Thank God. And my projects were going vertical. It was time to check in on them and get back into focused on that. So I was in San Jose and ended up getting introduced during a project visit to Dios Azul. Mm-hmm. And this project was a multifamily project, not a huge one, but nevertheless, the GC at the time said, "Rob, you got to try this tequila. I think you're going to like it. I know you like to go out. I know you like to have fun. I see you all around." And I tasted it in the back of a truck one day, and on a job site, and I go, "That's the best tequila I've ever had in my life. Whose is that?" And he goes, "It's Pedro." I go, "Who's Pedro?" He goes, "Pedro's doing the drywall." I go, "Pedro's doing the drywall on the project?" Yeah. And he made this? You got to be kidding me. I got to meet him. So long story short, I get introduced to Pedro Partida. It's part of the Partida family.
Right.
Which is a large family. Yeah. Right. We've got several downlines. So it's like 400.
Just for people to understand.
Give them some perspective.
When you say Partida is one of the oldest families that makes tequila in Jalisco. And they're generally around the town of Tequila in the Amatitan Valley. And there's a Partida distillery that started the Partida brand back in, I want to say, early 2000s. But they were producing tequila for decades before that.
For generations.
And then their different family members opened different distilleries.
Right.
And your distillery and your tequila was made, and Pedro's tequila was made Albert Partida's distillery, right? And I had the pleasure to go there with
it's a great trip.
Rob. It was a great trip, and like working with Albert and tasting the other stuff he makes was pretty eye opening. So Partida has, in my opinion, whatever that means, a really solid, authentic way of producing tequila, and they've been respectful of that and honoring that and continuing to create. So this is a great connection, right? If you, as a young entrepreneur in this industry, never been in this industry before, you stumble upon somebody with heritage, with definitely kind of traceable kind of ways of how they do it, with multi-generational involvement. So great.
It was imagine. You have to imagine as we pulled the layers back of this onion.
Totally.
Right. And I was no stranger to becoming an industry expert in stuff I didn't know anything about.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't know what the fuck a COVID test was, and somehow sold $200 million worth to the White House because you dove in and figured it out.
Totally.
Right. And so that's immediately as I started, my skepticism started turning into optimism because I was like, okay.
What did you see?
Okay,
like,
so
what's the
I'll tell you what I saw. Well, first of all, I've been in sales and marketing sales, marketing, team building my whole life. Sales distribution now after 2.5 years dealing with Kroger, Walmart, you name it. Like, so this was not a scary thing. Creating PDQs, understanding shelf placement, understanding the buyer schedule, fall resets, spring, all the nuances it takes to actually break into retail didn't scare me. I knew it. Okay. Sure. And then I knew vodka because that brand ended up getting shelved a little bit and moved towards Zaric on an offload. So I was the senior VP of that. And so we had that discussion about.
So you had some experience with distilled spirit.
It was these little Slumdog Millionaire moments that gave me insight into the industry.
But then again, the question here is that I want to ask you is like, at that time and the time before the pandemic, the celebrity tequila trend was
full effect.
Still is.
It was full effect.
In full effect. So how did you see an opportunity for you to build a brand?
And I love that you asked that.
In that market.
I love that you asked that. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have created a balanced life. So I've spent time in all the great hospitality markets, from Scottsdale to Miami to Austin to San Diego to LA to New York. Right? Employees only, New York. To understand like what we go through for bottle service, for high-end hospitality, and the sizzle, right? And entertainment, of course, as well. Got good friends with a lot of talented artists, from EDM to actual singers and songwriters, things like that, country to whatever. I've been fortunate enough to be in that space as a fan, but also with respect with a lot of these artists, because they know what I do in real estate and stuff like that. So I knew that there was a hole in the market based on what I had tasted, a huge gap on what authentic tequila is and what the market in America has had a chance to to experience. Now, this is before what we've all gone through now in 2025, right? With these class action lawsuits against massive conglomerates and portfolio holders that happen to be.
Karma's a bitch, no?
That happen to be backed by BlackRock. 10% of Diageo is owned by BlackRock. Yeah. They may or may not have a class action lawsuit in a couple states going on right now for lying to all of us about what's actually in there. Nevertheless, before that, I already knew it was shit. Yeah. And I knew I was tired of paying for that type of experience, right? It all comes down to experience in hospitality. Right. You know that. An experience creates a champion. A champion creates a long-time revenue source.
That's right.
Ultimately. We learned that at Mercedes. Yeah. You can't sell $100,000 cars to people and treat them like shit.
No.
You've got to make sure the experience is top 1%.
Absolutely.
And they leave boasting about your experience.
And feeling happy that they spend the money.
So exactly. And ready to do it in another 4 months. Yeah. Okay. So as I'm dissecting whether or not I wanted to do this, and it weighed on me heavily. Difference between what I got to do with my brokerage and real estate development, which was long sales cycles, right? Very limited customer interaction. We're dealing with a GC and an investor and a project and a bank, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not doing things day to day. There's not wins with customers day to day, which was something I got to do in the car industry, and I loved it.
And you missed it.
And I missed it. I missed working with customers.
I can see that,
yeah. So I go, fuck it. Cheers. Fuck it. We're going to do this. We're going to take on a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I don't know if anyone understands the numbers, but the spirit industry as a whole does $196 billion a year in revenue.
That's right.
$1 trillion industry.
Half off-premise, half on-premise.
Correct. So your on-premise is your retail offloads, your chain stores, your grocery stores, your liquor stores. Your on-premise is your hospitality. That's where brands are built.
That's right.
Right? Okay. So that's how you build a brand, is on-premise, in hospitality, restaurant, sports and entertainment complexes. Right? I knew that. I knew at least enough to know that. So the tequila line alone out of that $196 billion is about $17 billion and growing.
It's growing, yes.
Right, and growing. So year over year, it's been growing and grabbing market share as people start to understand that even the shitty tequila they've been enjoying is actually a healthier rendition than your bourbons and your whiskeys and your vodkas. And
that's a marketing story. I don't know if I buy that, but
I know I do know how I feel a little bit the next day, and I'm Scottish.
Yeah,
Laird, by the way. So believe me, I'm a bourbon, fan, whiskey fan at heart and by heritage. But I decided, kind of then and there that I would at least let's take a run and figure out what this can do. Okay.
Right.
And I was reluctant in the beginning because I knew the realities of the struggle.
Of course.
I'm not new to big business and marketing. And I knew raising capital for this particular venture was going to be a staggering feat. Right.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
Pedro had produced about 3 pallets, a pallet of each of our varieties. Our first 3 varieties we launched, which was Plata, Reposado, and Yeo. And they were all phenomenal. They're all stand on their own. They're all an expression on their own. Yep. And I think you can agree with that. Yep. And I said, okay, well, let's run a pilot run. And I want to run it in a hospitality market that would actually appreciate and has the capacity of growing a brand. Mm-hmm. One thing we looked back to, things that have been successful in the industry. Tito's launched their brand in Austin, Texas in 2002, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did it in a really authentic way by infiltrating hospitality, creating champions of the brand and beating out a kettle, a goose. Yeah. Right?
But also capitalizing on the fact that the market of Austin at that time was very much into local stuff, moving away from corporate messaging, wanting to have, and they recognized that as a brand.
The authenticity of the entrepreneurs resonated with the entrepreneurs in the community. Absolutely. And that's kind of what it came down to. Absolutely. You had people smart enough to understand what these guys were trying to do, and they appreciated the effort. Yeah. And I knew San Diego could do that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Even though I live east of Sacramento in the Northern California market, I knew that San Diego was a much better market to try to test this theory in. Yeah. And would this theory work?
America's finest city.
Would this theory work 20 years later? Or has that ship sailed?
Yeah.
And the truth is, it did. Immediately, we blew through everything I had. Mm-hmm. And this is moving it out of the back of my car.
Right, no. I'm not, it's the only way in the beginning.
Not fucking kidding. No, door to door.
I totally know. I remember that experience.
And to put it in perspective, I still have $60-70 million in real estate projects underway. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, believing in this so much that we're gonna shelf some time, right? Yeah. To really testing this out, the theory. Right. And it worked. And so very quickly from there, it was like, okay, we're on to something. It's as good as I thought it was. And I didn't just, fall in love with an idea. We started opening up my network and touching shoulders of people that are smarter than me in certain sectors, right? The best leaders in the world are not the smartest ones in the room. They're the ones who connect the brightest people, right, for the downline of the department that they need help in.
I love that.
Yes. And I can attest before we go any further that I've done that in spades with this team. It's it's a fucking pedigree.
I was there when you walked in for the first time.
I know, and I want to get to that because it's one of the best parts of this story because it was the catapult to all the other programs we've gotten into and partnerships. So as we did the San Diego move, I ended up getting introduced through one of these contacts to Chucky Lozano, right? Who was just about to sign. Let's go.
To explain to people, Chucky Lozano, or Irving Lozano, number 11 at San Diego Football Club, known as Chucky, is one of the best players in
the world.
And football, or like soccer, right? And so, for example, when he scored against Germany at the World Cup.
For Mexico,
right? They registered an earthquake in Mexico City because everybody jumped up at the same time.
From the celebration.
So the guy is a legend. He's really good. I can tell you
he's won a championship at every franchise he's been with. Mostly in Europe, which was all Europe.
So he came from Feyenoord to us. To San Diego Football Club as the designated player for the team, and So
That's
so you met him.
But keep in mind, this is what, again, when we talk about the story of this, it's really remarkable timing, right? I mean, God, you know, even though I lost my way with him there for some years after Dad passed, there's no way around it. The guy has been there the whole time, you know, testing me, opening the doors, shutting the doors. It's been, I'm excited to write about it one day, but in this instant,
this is a great perspective.
In this instant, it was a door opening. Of course, in our infancy, you know, and I was like one or two people involved, you know, tapped early shareholders that are still shareholders now that, you know, own wineries of their own as their own family business, and have been investors of mine, good friends of mine.
Right?
Philip, yep. You know, he's a great man.
Good wine, too.
He was a great wine, hell of wine, yeah. Clarksburg, yes, Silt Winery, you can look that up. And so I tapped his shoulder early on. Obviously, he's been doing sales distribution in the wine and spirit space. And so that's actually who our distributor is now, thanks to him. But at the time, we're kind of looking at how we execute this. Getting introduced to Chucky led us to SDFC.
Yeah.
Okay, because he was in the midst of his negotiation. Yeah. It was not done yet.
Yeah.
And there was last minute hurdle. I mean, so we were right in the thick of that.
Yeah.
Right. And then we got our chance to meet Tom Penn, our CEO, our fantastic leader here.
That's right. Who was also a guest at this podcast.
Who's one of the best men I've ever met in my whole life.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I mean, he's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
And
Tom, we love you.
We love you, Tom. And so as we were sitting here with Chucky, I'll actually get more granular here. Chucky's agent hadn't even met Tom yet, and he was finally coming into San Diego to sort of solidify, I think, the deal at that time, which we had some hiccups along the way. Boom, boom, boom. We worked through it. Chucky was coming on as an ambassador for us, and I remember talking to my team at the time, going, you know, I wonder if we can. On the record, we hadn't even funded this damn thing yet, by the way. This was self-funded at the time. You know, we're 500 grand, whatever. But we had not secured the funding that I wanted to secure.
To actually launch properly.
Mm-hmm. Correct? So this was all on the IFCOM, assuming I could accomplish my task, which I have done I've done before. I've raised capital for years, and I knew I would figure it out one way or another. But at the time, we didn't have the money. Tom, we didn't have the money, but I didn't go into the meeting talking like that. So his agent goes, "I'm flying in tomorrow, actually, to meet with SDFC." I said, "Okay, well, do me a favor. Will you just see if he's got like a half hour and we can connect? I'd like to talk to him about potentially becoming a sponsor for the team. You know, we've got Chucky. At this time, we had already solidified Chucky, you know, verbally committed and ready to go. Gave him a couple different structures. His father-in-law, Rodrigo, and his father came out, who's an awesome dude, came to the distillery. He saw everything. He was like, oh my God, we're in. This place is unbelievable, which, by the way, the place is unbelievable.
It is.
I've never seen, and there's very few distilleries that could even rival this place.
No, it's really cool. Especially his bar out there in the agave field.
The agave field.
So cool.
Brother, it is stay there. Anyway, I hope all of you get a chance to see it. But anyway, so I'm talking to Chucky's agent, and I go, just let me know if he's got like 20 minutes. I want to talk to him. He goes, okay, I haven't met him yet, Rob. Like, I'll see what I can come up with. And then he calls me and goes, well, listen, I'm going in around 4:00 to see him. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. This is, by the way, this call's going on at 10 a.m. in the morning, the same day. He goes, he flew in from Seattle, or Portland, where he's from. And he was heading to meet him at 4 p.m. And it's 10 a.m. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to grab a flight. I'll be there by 2. If he can connect, I'll just be in town if he has 15 minutes. So I grabbed a flight at like 11 for 2, ran to the airport, flew into San Diego, and was on standby. And I mean, on my way, luckily, you know, his agent goes, hey, he's got time at 4:30. I go, Perfect. I will see him at the headquarters at 4:30. Okay. So I show up. I actually brought Phil for this. Phil was agile enough to hop on the plane with me. I go grab a business casual outfit and meet me at Sacramento Airport. So we land and we make our way to the meeting.
Which is right by the airport.
100%.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right away. So we get a tour of the new office, which is sick and fitting for this franchise. And we meet Tom in the lobby, and it couldn't have been more cliche, but pretty much from the lobby to the 7th floor elevator ride, I explained to him who we are and what we're doing.
In the elevator. You gave him the pitch.
This was an elevator pitch.
Yeah, totally. Literally. Yeah.
Literally. Seriously.
Let me fill up this glass.
Let's do that because it gets good.
It's late at night. We have nothing else to do. We can just enjoy ourselves.
Cheers,
brother.
God,
what a great story. I love it.
Albert, you know how to fucking make tequila.
Please keep on talking.
So, I can see Tom's. I've been in sales for a few years. Pretty good at reading, people's body language and how they're absorbing your content. So, I can see Tom's kind of perking up, and I'm being pretty darn direct. I go, look, our goal is to turn Dios Azul into San Diego's tequila. Okay, we're going to leverage our hospitality partnerships we've got here with great groups like RMD Group, Click Hospitality, Hard Rock. Our group at Alessandro's got Zama. I mean, there's so much. There's a synergy in San Diego and hospitality that I don't think everyone else can grasp. For those of you who come to visit, you just enjoy it. But if you actually dive into the dynamic, I'll tell you right now, I've been everywhere. There's nothing fucking like it. No. I mean, even
the thing is because the people in San Diego think it's still kind of a small town and that they're not so important, so they don't take themselves seriously. And I think
there's no ego.
If you would have made a mistake to try to launch it out of San Francisco, you would have had a much steeper road ahead of you.
Yes.
I know you knew that, but just, kind of.
I couldn't have known I know now.
As a comparison, right?
I like that.
I think you chose wisely. I think this is a really great market. People love their agave here, and they know their agave here. So. Yeah. Please continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. No. Like adding color is important on this, and I didn't know everything. I couldn't have been more right, and I couldn't have known. We got lucky. But what's been great is again the understanding and taking a deeper dive into the ecosystem of the hospitality down here. There's no competition. I mean, club owners and hostess and promoters from one club will come and support and hang out at another club.
That's
our group at Sidebar, who's been from day one family. Our group from Nova, which is owned by Insomniac Group, has been from day one. Our group at Click in Oxford, sadly, it was closing their doors, but the team down there from JT to Mike Hernandez to Alex, they've all been amazing. And we became personal friends with these hospitality.
Yeah, and I met them all at the rooftop when we would have
powerhouses.
Yes, they're really great guys.
So our goal was basically, Tom, we are going to bring San Diego to life and give them a spirit that actually is their own tequila. That's brilliant, quality enough for them to really resonate with. Okay. And that was my goal from day one. Meanwhile, Tom's thinking pretty much the same thing about SDFC.
That's right.
Now, I hadn't met him. I didn't know his tenure. I didn't know what he had done with LAFC. I didn't know what he did with Portland. I didn't understand his time with ESPN
and NBA
and his MBA. And he's a fucking attorney, I think, too.
He is an attorney.
Incredible hair, by the way. So we know too. So
that's the Lebanese heritage.
It must be. So I can see his wheels turning as he's hearing my goals and aspirations for our brand. I can see the wheels turning instantly in the elevator, that it's aligning with his aspirations as well. And at the time, I didn't understand the ownership structure with Saquon and Mohammed Mansour, two of the most incredible powerhouses.
Absolutely.
From obviously on the tribal side, but also globally with enterprise.
Sure.
I mean, Mohammed is a Sir Mohammed.
Mansour,
what he's done with 65,000 employees is, so
incredible person.
This was from the get-go poised to be exactly where we see it today. 18 games in. 17 games in first position. So anyway, Tom goes and he tasted the juice with me and he goes, oh my God, that's fucking incredible. He goes, and he's playing poker with me because he doesn't know me that well yet. Okay. And I go, look, Tom, we've got Chucky. I would really like to see how we expand into the team. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, here's what I have in mind. I want to turn SDFC and Snapdragon into similar to what you're talking about. I want us to have hospitality focused. Yeah. I want to be after party experiences, which is something that he had actually piloted at LAFC. It was successful organically, but because he knew it organically took fold, he wanted to implement the strategy earlier so that it was more successful sooner, basically, right? Yeah. But almost he goes, listen, what are you doing right now? And I go, Tom, I flew in not knowing if I could beat you, and I don't have a return flight. Okay, so I'm here. What do you got? What do you want to do? And he goes, well, I'm heading to meet our celebrity bartender, Dushan. this gentleman right here. And to be honest, yes, he goes, look, Dushan's going to be the first celebrity bartender for SDFC. I want to bring a sense of hospitality, uniqueness to the experience, especially for our suite goers and our Founders Club members, but also for the whole stadium. And I'm going to need him to sign off on this because he's got a couple of ideas on how he wants to roll it out. Obviously, you were already thinking about what you were going to do, of course. Yeah. And I'm going to need him to sign off. And I go, fair enough. He goes, I'm heading there now. Do you want to catch an Uber with me? I go, yeah, let's go. Yeah. And that brought us to the barrage. Yeah. About 30 minutes later.
I got a phone call. Are you around? I'm bringing somebody to me. And I'm like, I'm about for like 30 minutes because I got to go and pick up my kids from school.
I remember. We rolled in.
Yeah, you guys rolled in and it was really great meeting you and Tom and the energy you guys brought with yourself, and from the get-go, I had a few great ideas.
I wish Tom was here because, you surprised him with your level of expertise and understanding on how to actually taste and understand the qualities of tequila.
Yeah,
and he put us through the ringer. And he's like, what the fuck is this kid?
Yeah,
It was the full swish, clear out, swish. It was the whole deal to make sure he understood the nodes and the production and, are there additives or the non-additives? I mean, and then we couldn't have known, I couldn't have known, the level of tenure you had in Mexico, producing your own tequilas, the producers you've worked with. I mean, you've been pretty humble at the start of this thing, but Dushan knows more about tequila than almost anyone I've met, other than maybe Albert, our producer. And
that's
so,
what I kind of say. But
to get the sign off from you meant a great deal because you didn't know me. I didn't know you. You could have essentially dead the deal that day.
Yeah,
and you would have if you didn't believe in it.
I thought the product is better than average. I knew that there is definitely a gap in the market that will appreciate this.
Now, when you say better than average, I want to let's put that in perspective.
Yeah. So
for someone who gets a chance to enjoy what stays in tequila, right? Small batch.
Yeah. So
but
what that means is it's a proper heritage product. So it is not like level of Fortaleza or whatever, a few other ones that are right up there, but that's not even the idea for this product. But it's right at, it's right there.
Yeah.
So
Fortaleza's basically restrained to about 40,000.
Yeah, they cannot. Their capacity of production is such.
Because they don't implement anything that has a modern technique to it. We blend our techniques, right? Exactly. We're using Tejon Stone like they are. They have one, we have six.
Yeah,
and we've been to Fortaleza together, you and I.
Yeah, but they also have not the high yield that you guys have because of the way they insist of making things, and that's just the philosophy of how they do it. and it's a matter of taste, right? It's like anything you perceive to your central organs is kind of your subjective experience, and what people argue about what band's better, what wine is better, what food is better, what tequila is better. It's.
I mean, I can tell you that. I mean,
no, but it's not the only like high end super quality tequila. There's others, and yours is right there. I mean, Dios Azul is not by any means what I meant to say about better than average. At that time, I was like fighting back the whole onslaught of like celebrity.
You didn't know.
I didn't know, and when I tasted it, well, this is great.
Forgive me. You didn't know at that time. That makes sense.
It's not that I didn't know. I tasted that it's a good tequila, and for me, that was all I needed. What I was concerned about.
I'm gonna have some more.
What like my questions were, because I was in this industry for a very long time. I was curious to know how you're going to go about distribution, how you're going to make sure you have enough.
The skepticism must have been rural. I mean, you must have been like, who's this guy? And why does he think he can pull this off?
Not necessarily that, but I just wanted to know that you have checked the boxes.
Sure.
That because Tom asked me, like, if we sign this guy, do you think he's going to
perform,
be able to deliver?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you got to make sure that the distribution thing is solid, that when you need, product, it's there. That is a really big, important thing. Also, that the place that the tequila is also available in the city for off-premise purchase, so that you can go to, a liquor store and actually find it.
Yeah.
And then is
market spend.
It's the market spend there. It's this whole thing.
No, it's. And we haven't even talked about the complexities of this industry and what it takes to even become relevant.
Right.
And so by the way, no one sponsorship gets you there. I think
sponsorship is just an opportunity for you to start
spending money to get a brand out there
around that sponsorship to make sure that the sponsorship is actually relevant. And then hopefully you see depletions,
Depletions are key, by the way. Depletions are everything. That's why we get up in the morning. Depletions.
Yeah.
I write depletions on my mirror in front of my in my restroom. Bathroom. See, this is what happens. Three shots in. Okay, great. So as you got introduced to Dios Azul, and thankfully signed off at least enough to keep Tom interested, which wasn't a done deal. We had several hurdles between. This was April.
That's right.
Of 2024. One whole year before the first game of SDFC.
That's right.
Think about the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got signed like literally a week after.
Well, I mean, you were in the works and you buttoned the deal up. Yeah. Which it was great because the parallels between what I love so much about this story with San Diego, the parallels between SDFC launching into this market, which they did exquisitely. I mean, they did such an authentic approach to each of the sub markets of San Diego.
That's right.
There's like, a dozen. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. San Diego has character in each one of the markets from North County to South. And they really did a good job of making it personal for everybody.
That's right.
And that's why we sell out 32,000 almost every match.
Yeah.
But also with us at the same time, for those of you who don't know, I'm just about to make our signature cocktail, the Chrome Azul.
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant creation, highly complex.
Well, it took me a while to make it, but to come up with it.
So along this little time, the parallels between your existence and with SDFC and our existence within the market, we had a chance to really lock arms on how we would tackle some of the marketing and fan engagement and activation. So that was the other advantage that we've had as a brand coming into a market, was we were continuing to be able to leverage that. So I attribute our success now, which we're one of 6 states already, and I only funded this. We talk about the funding round of Dios Azul. I funded this in October. Here we are in July, about to walk into August. So not long. We're under 10 months.
Yeah.
Under 10 months. And, we've gotten ourselves into a pretty good position.
Yeah, this must have been a really really stressful time for you, like trying to kind of convince the people that your money is actually green, and on the other side trying to raise enough of that.
Yeah. It was interesting.
But that's what you have to do as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You know, like it's just the way it is.
You know, I've always dealt in abundance, which so many of some of my favorite mentors they'll articulate in their podcasts and social media. So
Right.
we did build this on a social media platform. I'm a micro influencer. I hate saying that word, but at least enough following that to be dangerous and to be relevant to other larger influencers
Sure.
that really do have a pull. And so we've leveraged that strategy in the market.
Right.
And then we've also found other fantastic local influencers is what we've really tried to align with.
Yeah.
And luckily they have aligned with us. Can we see this? Because that is look at this contraption. Look at this is the Chrome Azul.
This is the Chrome and Azul,
which was designed specifically for SDFC, leveraging our plata.
That's right.
And look at this. We've got walk us through this creation.
So obviously the team needed its own kind of signature cocktail, right?
Sure.
If I'm going to be the only official bartender and club ambassador of a sports team in the world,
right,
I got to deliver. So
no pressure.
I mean, it's not pressure. It was creatively a challenge for me. Like, because I heard that the colors of the team are chrome, which the idea is it reflects everything that it comes in contact with. So everyone is kind of reflected and approved of. And azul, because color of the ocean, right? Yeah. San Diego, it's the sky, the ocean, it's us, blue.
Yes. Life.
So, in craft cocktail community, blue drinks are not necessarily something that you're kind of like.
I'm like looking at a hangover every time I see a blue drink.
Blue drink. Time for blue drinks. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how?
Just like delicious regret.
Yeah. So I'm like, why is it not red and chrome, or or yellow and chrome, like something natural occurring? And so I'm like, okay, one thing I knew is I'm not going to use blue curacao because that's not the flavor profile I want. What's the most favorite cocktail that people drink here is the margarita.
Right.
So I'm going to actually create a cocktail that is two-colored, but how do I make something blue? And the way I make how I colored your tequila.
I hope they can see.
Oh, yeah, they can definitely see it.
Not 4K.
Yeah, they can. They're like Peter, our producer, and is amazing at capturing.
Thanks for being here at 4 a.m. Peter.
Yeah, of course. Well, he loves it too. He gets a shot here and there. So, anyways,
we'll work for Dios.
I'm like, how do I make tequila blue without using artificial coloring or anything like that? And I discovered that actually, if I use blue spirulina, which is natural and gives you a really deep blue color, with a little addition of some, xanthan gum to just kind of compose integrate that color, so it doesn't oxidize, it doesn't
sink.
Well, it doesn't sink because it has no sugar here. The other part, the chrome part, has sugar. Actually, it has agave.
Okay.
Contro and clarified lime juice. And then I added some edible pearl dust to make the chrome effect.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, bang, there's a margarita, right? So to actually enjoy it, you gotta blend it.
We're gonna blend it, but I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So we're gonna blend it. Can we blend it now?
Yeah, you can totally blend it.
Okay, we're gonna blend it now.
Yeah, Peter's gonna do a good job of catching this. And
I'm gonna
there you go.
I'm gonna get
That's
this
okay. It's almost 4 a.m, so
that's okay.
Yeah,
got our movement.
Yeah,
look at that.
There you go.
Fantastic.
You're not a man who likes straws, huh?
No.
All right.
No straws for men.
No straws for you. Okay.
Yeah, here you go.
There you go.
It's exquisite. Yeah. Bold, really good flavoring. Better than any margarita that would be deconstructed and represents the brand.
So this is our official team cocktail, and hopefully It will be available as the season progresses on more outlets at the stadium. It's a big challenge to actually reproduce this drink exactly how it is. If you mess it up, it's not going to be the same drink, and I don't want to serve it like that.
Yeah,
It's
complex. Yeah, I mean
the prep is complex.
Yeah,
once you have the ingredients prepared.
There we go.
So hi, we're going to make now the official drink of San Diego Football Club, a drink called Chrome and Azul. Obviously, Chrome and Azul are the colors of San Diego FC, and I took the liberty to create a drink that represents not just the colors of the team, but also the energy, the community, and the flavor of San Diego. So, let's go. We'll start by using fresh lime juice, and for that we'll squeeze actually our own fresh lime juice. So we need an ounce of that. Best thing to do is to use the so-called elbow squeezer, and if the limes are good, you should be getting a good ounce from limes, from one lime. There we go. Full ounce of fresh lime juice. That's the first thing that goes in the drink. We will add that, obviously strained from pulp, into our mixing glass. Now this drink is layered, and the reason that we are doing it to be layered is because it will better represent the colors. Here we go. Next thing is a mixture of agave nectar and contro. This is a very simple mixture. It's 2/3 contro and 1/3 agave nectar. We will add half an ounce of this ingredient into our first combined ingredient called the chrome. Next thing is an ounce of water. You will ask, why do you need to add water in the cocktail? Well, we don't get enough dilution. This cocktail is in essence a deconstructed margarita. Therefore, we need a little bit more water to be added because this drink will be stirred and not shaken. So next thing is chrome. And chrome is basically edible glitter or pole dust in this case. So we will add a few shakes of the chrome to give it the impression and the looks of a cocktail that has kind of a chrome texture to it. You stir this ingredient and you stir it quickly because you don't want to dilute it too much. You already have that water that I said, and then you put your cured your cured cube in it. So now you pour this slowly over your cured cube, and as you can see on the bottom, this already has an impression that it is kind of chromy, right? So the next ingredient is fairly simple. It's the Dios Azul Plata, which we colored organically with blue spirulina and added just a touch of xanthan gum to make it stable so that the spirulina powder doesn't separate. It is not that difficult to make. This is a 2-ounce pour. And again, just like with the chrome element, we will pour our tequila element, our azul element, in the mixing glass. You can reuse the same ice you used before and give it just a brief stir, after which you gently layer it over this large rock on top of the cocktail, like that. Since the chrome element has sugar in it, it will by nature, it is more dense, so it will sit on the bottom, and the blue element, the azul element, is lighter since it doesn't have sugar, and it will float on top. Now this is our deconstructed margarita. You cannot really drink it like this. In order to finish it, you will need to add a straw so that you can stir it and fix it yourself. Finally, we garnish it with a dehydrated lime. And this is your chrome and azul. To drink this drink, you will have to stir it up and blend it. Stay legendary. Cheers. It's not a big deal, but the prep itself takes some,
Well, right now we've got a variation that's a little more simplified, right? It gives us kind of a little bit of the effect that's across the entire stadium, which is cool.
Yeah.
One of the greatest wins that we had with this partnership was that we placed 2 really great cocktails through the whole stadium with Snapdragon. So you've been there. We got our Paloma that you helped out creating, and the Chrome Azul, which everyone can enjoy.
That's right.
A complex craft version of it is available at Founders Club and hopefully in all the suites here pretty soon. So let's go back to kind of where we're at today real quick, because that was such a pivotal point to partner with these guys.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, as we created our funding, which I knew we would do, it happened on time.
It helps when you know that you have a big deal with
nearly on time, 100%, right? Yeah. So again, we talk about Slumdog Millionaire moments of this puzzle, like if we hadn't put our balls on the line, and by now I've got a great team between Trevor Martin, I've got my CLO, co-partner, co-founder, CFO, who helped draft everything we needed to make sure. So we had internal counsel, to our COO that came from Fever Tree and Jones Soda, 20 years experience in beverage. We started putting our pieces together on the team front, the officer front, and it made it a lot easier to acquire the cash we needed to execute with investors to give them, confidence. We would obviously give them return for them.
But also, I assume, and this is a question, sorry to interrupt you, you had a better bargaining position for the equity sale to the investors because you already had
100%.
And that's a really important thing for people to kind of know. Like the investors, God bless them, but they want to take your firstborn if they can.
100%.
Right.
The greater the risk, the greater the reward.
Right.
And so how do we mitigate risk? We mitigate risk by amplifying the potential for success.
So this is a brilliant move, and I hope people who are thinking about starting their own brand kind of capture this really important piece of information.
It's exactly what I just kind of said. And of course, we learned that tactic in real estate because typically when I would raise capital in that space, it was on the 1 yard line, meaning very little risk for an investor, right? Debt is secured, meaning the construction funding is already in place for the project that's going to go north. That's now going to go from being worth $11 million to worth $50 million. And you're coming in on the 1 yard line to grab, 7 or 10%. Instead of earlier 7 months prior, you would be coming and going, I want 30% because I don't know if you're going to secure debt.
That's
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So again, all of these tactics in business that I had been involved with helped get us to a position where we can execute in an optimal position. For something like this.
Right.
And it wasn't a fucking accident. Yeah. Even though people think like, it's like, it's not a fucking accident.
No, it cannot be an accident.
It's 40 chest. Okay. So our deal with SDFC, keep in mind, we're negotiating in June, July, August, September, October, wrapping the deal up. The fucking season doesn't start till March.
Yeah.
5 months later, and we're launching a brand. Who could that be?
Sierra came in, Rob's wife, to drag him home because it's probably she's looking at the watch.
Am I proposing on this goddamn podcast? Easy.
Oh, you guys are not married yet?
We're not married.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Don't spoil it for everybody out there. Trust me, you'll have some people very upset they weren't invited to a party.
If when you do, I'll gladly work your wedding.
It's definitely Sierra's fantastic. I mean, she's been involved from day one. We've been together 4 years, and she's been a sincere foundation. That any good entrepreneur needs in order to get after it. I mean, if it were anyone else, my house probably would have been burnt down about 4 or 5 times.
Cannot be overstated.
No, can't be overstated.
Can't be overstated.
And I don't understand why it would be a problem when you're out till 4 a.m. at the clubs and nightclubs and
and you're not bad looking either. So other women give you the eye and then
what are you talking about?
Here's some chicken soup because that's our tradition here at the 4 a.m. chicken soup. At 4 in the morning we'll have soup.
This is really all she drinks to keep it tight and right for me. It's very sweet of her.
Oh, yum. Not a bad soup, huh?
I've been eating all day. 4 a.m.
There you go. That's why you have your boyish figure.
So good.
So please continue. We left off. You were speaking about. You got the deal. You got signed.
Right. What it meant for us as a brand to align with SDFC. Finally, and commit to that, right? Which there was a chance there. And the reason why I have so much admiration for Tom is by now, just like our brand, which was gaining power in the industry,
right?
So was SDFC.
Yeah.
So as we it's business. When we spoke in April, no one knew who they were.
April of last year.
2024.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are in July of 2025.
Yeah.
The season started in March, for those of you at home paying attention to the timeline. Now everyone's seeing what they have created, their door is getting knocked on by the big boys.
That's right.
Because they're starting to realize, okay, this is $1 billion franchise.
Yeah.
And
believe me, I know intimately because I was involved in negotiations with the other spirits, so other spirit categories and the team. They didn't really understand.
No, they didn't. And they were going, what are you talking about?
Now
it should be Proximo. It should be Diageo. It should be...
They're knocking on my door all the time.
100%.
And I'm happy to make introductions, but now we're talking a completely different game.
Right. I mean, keep in mind, Snapdragon had Proximo in there, meaning, for those of you at home, Proximo happens, one of their brands under the franchise is 1800 Tequila.
That's right.
So 1800 Tequila was already in the stadium we were trying to infiltrate.
And so I think, isn't it Jose Cuervo? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jose,
correct, yes.
Yeah, Jose
so they
Cuervo
could have gone, they could have gone either way.
Maestro Dobel, all this.
Yeah. Some
Centenario, Grand Centenario, all these offshoots.
The offshoots they could have chosen maybe to take over. But 1800 was already in there. Yeah. And they were pulling out of their contract with the stadium.
Yeah.
And, the one thing that those
good thing they did. I
don't understand is the stadium isn't owned by SDFC.
That's right.
So we have another layer. They're a tenant. Yeah. They're a leaser, of the stadium, which is owned by San Diego State, SDSU. So while we're negotiating SDFC's contract as a title sponsor, we're having to negotiate. We're getting the chance to negotiate with SDSU, and their team to take over the bars because that was a big part of how we wanted to infiltrate our after parties and our integration into the market.
Yeah.
So we have 2 separate contracts that we were negotiating at the same time.
Yeah.
So the fact that during that last 5-yard line, Tom literally had to pitch council, shareholders, everyone.
Yeah, I remember.
These guys will deliver.
Yeah.
This is the brand I want.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
I also think Tom recognized beyond the brand, what we started this, talk with is your human qualities and your leadership qualities as a leader, as a founder. He's seen that because he possesses it too.
He does.
And you can only see that in others if you already have it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the little special kind of dusting on top that I think pushed it over the finish line. I think
I couldn't agree more. If he didn't have the respect of his audience, which was two incredibly powerful ownership groups, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So when I talk about the support we've gotten along the way,
right,
from everybody, the universe, God, etc. Every one of these chapters, if we hadn't won, we wouldn't be here, right? Because SDFC springboarded us into partnerships with, Throw One Entertainment and Dana White, which took us from now regional to national overnight, right? So that was the second partnership there. So, this chapter that you were involved with, which stems back to, early end of March and in April of 2024 was the pivotal for the brand.
And I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, buddy.
And of your team. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. Every time you come to the game, I'm looking forward to saying hi, and
meeting, a great synergy
meeting your friends and, being a good host for you guys there. And I hope that, we'll spend years there together.
Me too, bro.
Man, it's so great to have you here.
I'm gonna walk around. You're gonna have to come over here to stay on camera.
I'm gonna walk over.
Big hands. Thank you.
Dude, what a pleasure it is to be friends with you, man. Please.
Great.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Yeah. All right, everyone, stay legendary.
If you haven't followed him yet, please go and follow 4 a.m. Chicken Soup. For those of you who don't know, Dushan is a world-renowned mixologist. He helps create some of the best menus and helps with execution of everything for hospitality between Aspen, New York, you name it. And it is employees only that he was a part of for years in downtown, Midtown, New York. It's West Village, New York. I don't spend enough time at, clearly. But anyway. Thanks for fucking having my back.
All right, man. Thanks for the let's enjoy the soup.
Yes.
We're going to do after hours, but for you guys, that's it for today. Stay legendary. Thank you.